Prophet Musa. A long time ago, Egypt was ruled by kings like Pharaohs. They wanted to be treated like gods. At the same time, they treated their people badly. The Israelites lived in Egypt. One of the pharaohs did not like them. He believed an Israelite baby was to be born who would grow up and turn against him. He feared this baby would destroy his kingdom. There was only one way to stop him. He gave orders to kill every newborn Israelite baby. Prophet Musa was born during this time. His mother was very worried that he would be killed, but Allah told her to put the baby afloat in the river. Have no fears, he said. We shall return him to you. He is to be a messenger. So she put Musa in a box on the river. The Pharaoh was in a boat on the river. He saw the box and picked it up. What a surprise! A boy was in the box. The Pharaoh's wife liked Musa when she saw him. She did not have any children of her own. She told her husband that she wanted to adopt the baby. The Pharaoh agreed. He did not know that Musa was an Israelite. So Musa was not killed. There was a problem though. Musa would not let any woman feed him. Musa's sister said, I can show you a woman who can help, and she ran home to her mother. Together they went back to the palace. The Pharaoh allowed Musa's mother to take the baby and take care of him. He did not know she was his real mother. In this way, Allah had returned Musa to his family. Prophet Musa (AS) grew up in the palace. He learned that the pharaohs treated the Israelites like slaves. He also found out that he himself was an Israelite. One day he found two men fighting in the town. One was an Israelite. The Israelite called for help. Prophet Musa (AS) hit the other man. The man fell down dead. Musa (AS) did not want to kill him. He just wanted to stop the fight. This is the work of Satan, he said. Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. Allah knew it was not Musa's fault and forgave him. The Pharaoh found out that Musa (AS) had killed an Egyptian. Musa (AS) had to run away to save his life. He ran away at night. He headed for a faraway town called Midian. When he arrived, he rested in the shade of a tree by a well. Some men were giving their sheep water. Two women were standing nearby. They looked worried. Musa (AS) asked them what was wrong. They said, Our father is an old man. He cannot give our sheep water. We can't do it alone. We have to wait until everyone is finished. Musa (AS) gave the sheep water. Then he went back to rest. Soon one of the girls came back. My father wants to see you. He wants to reward you for helping us, she said. Musa (AS) went over and talked to the old man, Shoaib (AS). He told him his story about running to save his life. The old man told him he was safe here. One of his daughters asked his father to hire him because he was strong and honest. The old man agreed. Stay here, work for me. I will let you marry one of my daughters if you will work for me for 8 years or 10. If you want to do me a favor. Musa (AS) thought this was a good idea. He thanked Allah for his good fortune. He married one of the girls. Musa (AS) lived happily in Midian, taking care of the sheep. When the time was up, Musa (AS) wanted to go back to Egypt. He missed his family and his home. Musa (AS), his wife, left across the desert for Egypt. When night fell, they stopped and put up their tent. It was cold and dark. It was then that Musa (AS) saw a fire on the side of a nearby mountain. Stay here while I check out that fire, he said to his wife. Maybe I can bring back some fire to keep you warm, or I may find someone to guide me. When he reached the fire, he heard a voice calling him, Musa, I am your Lord. Take off your shoes. You are in the holy valley of Tua. I have chosen you to be my prophet. So listen to what I am going to say. I am Allah, the only Allah, so obey me and pray to me. Then Allah said, What do you have in your right hand, Musa? Musa a.s. said, This is my stick. I lean on it when I shake the tree's branches. It to get leaves and fruits for my sheep and goats, and I use it for other things. Allah said, Throw it down, Musa. Just then the stick turned into a huge moving snake. Musa a.s. was afraid of it, but Allah told him, Take it and do not be afraid. We will turn it back to the way it was. So Musa a.s. did. Then Allah asked him to put his hands under his armpit. When he did, his dark hand turned white. Allah told him to go to the Pharaoh in Egypt. There he should ask the Pharaoh to believe in Allah. He should also show him the two powers that Allah had given him. Then Musa a.s. asked Allah to help him to be able to speak better. He also asked if he could get his brother Aaron to help him. Aaron a.s. spoke better than Musa, and he could convince the people better. Allah told Musa a.s. that his wishes were granted. Allah asked Musa a.s. to go with his brother to the Pharaoh and speak to him gently. Then he might believe in Allah and fear him. He also told him not to be afraid because he was on their side. So Musa a.s. went. Allah had chosen him to be his prophet. He left to save the Israelites from the Pharaoh. He had two miracles and his brother to help him. In Egypt, Aaron and Musa a.s. went to the Pharaoh. They told him that they were messengers of Allah. He must let the Israelites go with them out of Egypt and stop hurting them. But the Pharaoh said, I brought you up, you lived in my palace. Now you do this? You are ungrateful, Musa. If you serve any god but myself, I'll throw you into prison, said the Pharaoh. Musa a.s. said, Even if I show you a sign from Allah? Show me your sign, said the Pharaoh. And Musa a.s. threw down his stick. It turned into a snake. Bah, that's just a trick. The Pharaoh said, What do you think, my nobles? The nobles told the Pharaoh to bring together all the magicians to the palace. Then they could see if it was just a trick. The people would follow the winner. All the magicians were gathered. They knew many tricks. They threw their sticks and made people believe that they were snakes. Musa's stick turned into a real snake and ate theirs. When the magicians saw this, they fell to their knees. They bowed down to Allah. They knew no one could do what Musa a.s. had just done. Only Allah could do that, they said. We believe in the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of Musa and Harun. The Pharaoh was very angry. He said, You don't know what you are doing, but you will see. I'll cut off your hands and feet. I'll crucify you all. The threats did not scare them. You cannot harm us. We shall return to our Lord. We pray He will forgive us our sin. The Pharaoh said, First I'll kill Musa. Let him cry out for his Lord. One of the Pharaoh's friends was secretly a believer. He said, Would you kill a man just because he says Allah is my Lord? He has shown you signs from Allah. If he is lying, let him worry about it. But if he is telling the truth, you will be in trouble. Then he reminded them what happened to the people of Nuh a.s. This is not a new religion. No one listened. The Pharaoh and his people soon learned about the power of Allah. Allah caused great floods. He covered the land with locusts. Each time the Pharaoh asked Musa a.s. to pray for them, he said he would believe in Allah, he would even free the Israelites. But each time Allah showed mercy, the Pharaoh broke his promise. Finally, Allah told Musa a.s. to take his people and go. They left at night. By dawn they had come to the Red Sea. There was no way across. Just then they saw the Pharaoh and his army behind them. They thought it was the end. But Musa a.s. said, "No, fear not. My Lord is with me. He will guide me." And he hit the sea with his stick. They could hardly believe their eyes. The sea split into two. It made two mountains of water with a path in between. The Pharaoh's army were getting closer. The Israelites ran between the walls of water. Then the Pharaoh and his army were in. The Israelites finally got to the other shore. When they looked back, they could see the Pharaoh's men between the walls of water. They were still coming when the walls caved in. The water poured in from both sides, and the Pharaoh and his army were drowned into the Red Sea. The Pharaoh's body was drowned onto the shore later. This showed the people the end of a bad king who was against Allah. The Israelites continued on their journey through the desert. Allah had saved them. On their trip, Allah helped them. He made clouds to give them shade from the hot sun. He sent them manna and salwa to eat. When they were thirsty, Allah ordered Musa a.s. to hit a rock with his stick. 12 springs gushed forth. There was a spring for each of the 12 tribes of the Israelites, but the people grew tired of the some old food. They asked Musa a.s. to have Allah send them real food. They wanted vegetables and grain. Musa a.s. was angry. "We have better food now than what you are asking for. The kind of food you like to have can be found in any land." Musa was upset. His people were losing faith. They even asked Musa a.s. to make them an idol to worship. Allah ordered Musa a.s. to leave his people for 40 days. He was to go to the mountain. There he would receive instructions. In the mountain, Allah gave Musa a.s. the Torah. But when Musa a.s. came back to his people, there was trouble. They had taken all their gold and made a statue of a calf. They were praying to this golden calf. They almost killed Aaron when he tried to stop them. Musa a.s. was very angry for what his people did when he was away. He explained to them their mistake. They were sorry, and they all kept going. Finally, they neared the promised land, Palestine. Allah ordered them to enter it. They did not want to. The people in Palestine were too strong for them. They said, "Musa, you and your Lord go and fight. We will stay here." Musa a.s. said, "Lord, I have no one to obey you but myself and my brother. It will be for you to decide what you will do to us and to those wrongdoers." Allah replied, "They will not be allowed into the blessed land for 40 years. They will be lost and wander in the land. Do not be sorry for them." During the next 40 years, many of the older people died. Their children grew up strong. They believed in Allah. They were ready to fight for the blessed land. They reached Palestine. They fought to the people who lived there, and they won.